Getting started growing an email list from scratch can feel overwhelming because there can be so many things to do, especially with like what do I start with, who does what, and all the things. And so today on the Kia Kelly podcast, we are going to talk about how to get started growing an email list and how we can help you with that. Welcome back to another episode of the Kenya Kelly podcast. And today we are talking about email marketing. And we have actually talked about this before, but I still get lots and lots and lots of questions about it. And so I wanted to shoot an episode of the audio as well as for YouTube, especially because you're like, how in the world do I get started? Okay. So more than likely, this will probably be like a part one and a part two because there can be so many things to go along with getting started with email marketing. But today, I just really want to get you started with some of the basics. Okay. So, one of the first things to understand is that before you actually start like trying to build an email list and all the things, you have to ask yourself the question of why are you trying to build an email list, right? Like you really need to have that full understanding because once people start getting onto your email list, then what, right? And if you know me, you know that I always begin with the end in mind. Like, what is this ultimate goal? Why are we trying to do this? Okay. So for me, when I started building an email list, I was building it because I was taught that one, email is one of the easiest ways to have a conversation with people, right? Now, initially I was like, well, isn't it social media? And there is truth to both of them, right? One of the reasons why social media is so powerful is because people are always on it, right? But one of the reasons why email is so powerful is that people are making a conscious choice to join it, right? And when they open it, they made a conscious choice to open it, right? So both of them have beauties to them, okay? And so the other reason why I decided to start and get an email list was because when I was building my business in the beginning on social media, I watched Facebook start to change to where we were posting all this stuff and then people weren't seeing anymore. And they wanted us to pay for ads. And in order for people to see things inside of our Facebook groups, we had to run an ad or whatever. All these things had to happen. And so I started to see where I was not going to have as much control on social media. But more than all of that, I wanted to be able to have control over making money. Okay. Because I am a business. I'm not talking about like I am money hungry, but you know what I mean. But in order for my business to flourish or me to pay my bills, my business has to make money. And so that was the bigger goal. How can I make sure that I can make money in my business? And I was being taught that social media is one way and paid advertising in all different types of mediums is another way and email marketing is another way. And so I wanted to explore that, right? So for you, I really want you to like answer the question to yourself of why is it that you want to build an email list, okay? Because no matter what I say here today, at the end of this, you have to go and build it. At the end of it, you have to be the one that is going to be communicating with your audience when they're on email, right? You're going to have to be the one that's going to write it unless you're going to hire a content writer to be able to do that for you, right? So it is really, really important for you to ask yourself that question first, okay? And so now we can kind of get into the how-tos and all the types of things, okay? Now, one of the things you need first is you have to have your email software system, okay? Now, there's like different fancy languages, CRM, all that, but basically you need a platform. You have to pay for something that will allow you to collect email addresses and it will allow you to send emails to people that join. Okay. So some of those are like MailChimp, Constant Contact, Aweber, Entreport, ConvertKit, Teachable. It is, who do we have? Kartra. There's System.io. There are so many tools out there, ClickFunnels, that allow you to be able to capture email addresses, okay? And you have to decide which one is the one for you, okay? When I first got started, it was MailChimp, okay? Then I moved to, what was that one called? I can't remember what it was called. I moved to another one, and then eventually I moved over to ConvertKit, and from ConvertKit we moved to Kartra, okay? And we've been with Kartra for a while now, okay? And so for us, we chose Kartra because one, we wanted a platform that would allow us to send emails, but we also wanted a platform where we could house our courses, okay? And so that is why we chose Kartra, but you can choose the one that is best for you. So you need to have that system, okay? The second thing that you need is you need to have some type of way that you're going to get people to join that email list, okay? So for example, we have a free gift which is called How to Create the Perfect Funnel, okay? And if you're interested in learning how to create the perfect funnel, it's absolutely free. You can go to kenyakelly.com/funnel, okay? kenyakelly.com/funnel, and we'll give you a free guide teaching you how to get started with the perfect funnel. Now, as it pertains to even that, right, we had to have a one-page website that is going, people are able to click on, and they can give their name and their email address in order to join our email system, okay? So you need a one-page website or a pop-up that is going to allow people to opt in to get whatever it is you're going to offer. The next thing is what I was just talking about, something you are going to offer them so that they will give you their email address. Now, oftentimes people feel like that if they have a pop-up on their website, if they just happen to have this pop-up, that people are just going to give you their email address because you asked for it. And that happens sometimes, but it doesn't happen most times, right? It happens sometimes, but it doesn't happen most times. Why? Because giving someone your email address is kind of like giving them your phone number. You're giving them access to contact you, to bug you, to sell you, to talk to you, right? To alert you. You're giving people this access. And so when you are thinking about like, why would a person want to join my email list? You have to ask yourself, what will cause you to join your own email list? Most people offer something to their audience in exchange for their name and email address, right? For example, we had a TikTok for female coaches, right? And if someone went to TikTokforFemaleCoaches.com, we were giving them a free PDF guide and a training that teaches them how to get started with TikTok as a female coach or business coach or whatever, right? And so when someone gave me their name and their email address, in exchange, we gave them the guide and gave them a training, okay? So more people were likely to give us that information because we were giving them something that they wanted in exchange. So you have to have something, a reason, a gift to give to people that would cause them to want to join your email list, okay? And I tell people all the time that it is really, really, really important to know that that free gift has got to feel like a gift to the person that is going to opt in. You know, like sometimes we will offer these like ebooks or stuff that people really don't care about, and we wonder why nobody is opting in. It's because they don't want the thing that you're offering. When you offer something to someone and they don't take it, is because you're offering them the thing that they don't want, right? And so it's really important for you to get to know the people that you're trying to get to join your email list, because they're going to join when they're getting something that they actually want, okay? So if you're going to grow this email list, you've got to have a conversation with your community. You've got to figure out what it is that they want, what it is that they need, and then you can create something complimentary, free, that will make them feel like this is going to be a benefit to them, why they would give you their name and email address, okay? Then from there, you've got to actually build these things. Now, I know that like that's not the funnest thing to think about, because a lot of us, we like to do the fun, creative, the sexy things or whatever. But the truth is that you can't always do the fun stuff. You know what I mean? Like, it's fun for me right now to shoot this podcast or shoot this video, but when it is over with, there are some things that I have to do. I got to pull the video out. I got to upload it. I got to do all these things that are not fun, right? I love talking to my audience, teaching, serving, being on stage and all that, but I have not been someone who has loved to do PowerPoint presentations. And so there's all these little things that go along with, you're building your business, and email marketing is one of them. And I share this all the time on social media, that you would be so much more powerful and be able to make more money through automation if you were focusing on developing your email address, right? Email list. And sometimes what is happening is that people don't put emphasis on building an email list because there's a lot of things to go along with it. There is the integration, someone to do that type of work for them. Well, listen, if that is you and you're like, oh my God, I need help with that, reach out to us. Our team may be able to assist you with that, okay? But it is really, really, really important that you don't look at the downside of things. You don't look at all the things that has to be done, but that you look at, here's the possibility of having control over your business, right? Being able to send one email that alerts 100 people, 500, 1,000, 10,000, 100,000 people, versus having an audience of millions of people on social and only a couple thousand see it, or a couple 100,000 see it, right? Whereas if you had a million followers on social and a million people on email, you have control on how in the world you can talk to people by sending out one message on email, okay? So again, the first thing you have to do is you have to have some type of email system, okay? You have to have a one-page website where you're going to offer something. You have to have the thing that you actually offer, okay? And then you have to integrate it, okay? Now, one of the things you can do is if you're like, oh my God, I'm so confused, then you can rewatch this video. You can re-listen to this podcast. But I talk about this all the time in so many different facets. But I do think that I'm actually going to do a part 2 to this, because there's so much more to it, and I want to make sure that you get what you need. So here's what I want you to do. You're watching this video on YouTube. I want you to comment below any questions you have about what I just said. And then when I go to record the part 2, I'm going to be answering all the questions. So if you're listening to this on the podcast, come find the Kia Kelly Station on YouTube, and I will do a follow-up, a part 2, actually answering these questions. Okay. So I hope you enjoyed this part 1. Get started with the basics that I went over today. Come on YouTube and ask me the question that you have, and then we will get going when we do part 2.